and spoilers. You can see those very easily on these sets of cars that make up the front few rows, with McClendon, Miller, Friedrich, and George leading the way for your playoff competitors in this opener for the round of 16. A lot hangs in the balance tonight. Again, a win and you're in as we start a 10-week journey to chase a championship. And we're so happy that you're with us tonight on LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network. Pace car to dive down and in. It is Scott McClendon's field to control as the 51 car paces at a turn number 4. And we say, let's go racing at Las Vegas. Green flag in the air. It's the round of 16.
And a good clean start for the top 10 positions. They're already trying to fan nearly 3 wide. Fredericks had to block all the way to the apron to make sure Andrew T. Jones didn't try and duck his way inside the top 12 already.
It's actually been a few weeks since we've seen just a normal intermediate racetrack like this. As Friedrich will go to the outside. He gets up in front of Miller, trying to challenge McClendon to the outside. And we're going to go 3 wide now with that duo up top, not making the corner. George is going to drop back a little bit. The 45 car is checking up on the inside as Chambliss tries to hang on. Still 3 wide now, but it's Friedrich on the outside and Blake O'Connell on the attack. The 67 car trying to make some noise at a 2. He won't go to the race lead, though. And now here comes Skylar Shackelford from 7th. He'll look to the inside, but McClendon will shut the door.
And that time, O'Connell nearly shut the door right in Jacoby's front nose, nearly squeezing him down into Shackelford. They're being very aggressive early on in this race. It's looking like the bottom line, though, in the first part of this run is the preferred line as Jacoby would make it 3 wide for second spot.
He'll get around the 67 of O'Connell, door to door with Shackelford, and you can see McClendon try to protect the inside, but the top line's wide open. Here comes Jacoby, second most consistent driver over the course of the regular season. He's got the outside line in 3 and 4 as that 51 machine stays committed to riding the inside line. And in fact, he'll go all the way down to the flat part of the racetrack in the front stretch. We're trying to shorten his way around. The 67 O'Connell trying to make that third and outermost lane work, but it was very short-lived. And we'll watch this set, the 2x2 continue. Jacoby really struggling, but he stays in it that time off the corner, and then he'll get a shove by Friedrich to turn 3.
I remember last time we were here with a different package. It was one of the last times, actually, that we've seen the package in effect in the series. Friedrich was the dominant car after he was able to get by Connor Horn. Wouldn't be surprised to see Andrew do something similar on the long one if we get to that point today in this one. He just needs to take advantage of track position as well as find a way to clean air. I think right now he's still trying to push forward Jacoby on that top side.
And you can see 2x2 now 4 rows deep. It's exactly what we were expecting with this package here at Las Vegas. The 3 again, a little bit of a bobble, outer line out of 4, but he'll stay with it. And funny that the 2 cars that have been going head-to-head longer than anybody else has, at least in this 2019 campaign, are still working together. As the 88 again to push the 3 down the front stretch. Now we'll see at a turn number 2 as Jacoby actually gets the advantage down the Nellis straightaway. Quarter car length advantage into 3. And they'll draw right back to being nose to nose, but virtually little to no separation. The top 14 cars all still scored within 1 second of each other. Scott McClendon leading another lap that time at the inside line. It is going to take quite some time into a run before we even start to have to get out of the throttle. Of course, cooler track temps. It's only 68 degrees, which makes track temps 100 a lot cooler than what it would have seen over the weekend with the Monster Energy Series starting in nearly 100-degree outside temperatures. So maybe that'll help these drivers out as well. As 7 laps in, we haven't seen a race leader get anything more than a car length of an advantage.
The main concern for me, though, is the temperatures have been going up and down fairly quickly, more so that we've seen all summer, really. So that is something I think you have to be concerned about a driver, which means the grip levels are going to consistently change, not just with the dynamic track conditions, but with this temperature going to make it very difficult. But we're already seeing drivers such as Shackelford, who just let off the gas to get to the middle line, wanting to get off the bottom. The top line is starting to change as the preferred line in the corners.
And you can see that 51 machine on the inside really trying to hold his own, but even behind Shackelford and O'Connell, you mentioned they are moving up that lane or so. Nobody down at the very inside unless you're in a 2x2 battle down at that end of the racetrack at 1 and 2. And that's because the bumps in the center of the corner at that end of the racetrack can really loosen you up. And at this end of the racetrack, you can get away with it more so. And I think that's why McClendon then pulls an advantage back in his direction. But still side by side for the race lead. All 28 cars who were scheduled to take the green flag in this race have. And Jacoby's going to go to the inside. Couldn't make it work up top, and it will not stick on the bottom. The 3-car tried, but he had to get out of the gas, and McClendon survives another challenge.
And it's all about carrying momentum, right? That time Jacoby had a strong run of momentum off the corner and just tried to even get down to the apron. I think McClendon basically said, you tried to go extremely late into the corner to make the pass. Gave him some room, but not too much room. I think McClendon, though, is going to be fighting as hard as he can because this has been one of his longest stretches of lead laps in a row in all of 2019 on the intermediates this season.
You saw the 3 again, peak to the bottom of the racetrack. The 51 really didn't move to block it from him, but Jacoby maybe anticipating that, went back up top, and it sets him up for a good run this time off of the corner. Now McClendon will return to the apron, protect the bottom line, and we'll see if it works out for him as they've got a little bit of separation over the battle for second. Freenage has gained sole possession to that one, and Shackelford is tucked in behind. The next battle would be 4th and 5th. O'Connell Parrish fighting there on back, but the 3-car not willing to give this one up. Jason Jacoby's been known to go at it early in these runs, and 12 laps in of the 125 of the board today, and your race leaders are still again all over each other. Curious if this is going to hurt them on the long run if this race were to stretch out and see some green flag action.
Yeah, the field runs about 55 laps or so, give or take. It's going to definitely hurt their tires. The more they side draft and the more they battle like this, the more it's going to burn up the rubber on, especially in the right fronts of these machines. So yeah, it's an absolute concern. And regardless of the package for these drivers, and this is all but going to help, say, an Andrew Freenage, who has been waiting behind in the 3rd position, essentially waiting patiently to see what's going on with this battle, because we've seen it from Andrew all season here, Evan. He doesn't want to push the issue early in too much in the mid-run. He lets the drivers around him burn up their equipment.
And he's got a front row seat if that is the case as we continue to go side by side for the point. Maybe this time Jacoby's got a good opportunity. He had the advantage, 2 car lengths off the corner. McClendon again going to dive to the inside, shorten up his trip to turn 1, and it actually brings them back even. So I thought Jacoby had a real shot that time at a 4 to clear all the way. McClendon is starting to push from the white line all the way up. Jacoby's got just enough space to get on through, and that time into 3, he's got him. Jacoby to the point, and a caution flag behind your leaders.
And a couple different drivers spinning around. Frederick's involved.
If they're going to get that far, Jones will go to the apron. Shackelford's going to be up against the fence, so the 03 is not going to be able to arc the corner like Jacoby will. This could work out for the 3, but if he can get around Shackelford by the time they get to the back straightaway, but he won't be able to. Shackelford into the outside wall. He'll spin off a corner 2, and Shackelford's into the fence.
And this is the 2nd time this run he's got in an incident. This time, he got a bit tight trying to push off the corner again. Same thing we've seen for the last stack up and ended up slamming into that safer barrier. Unfortunate for Shackelford. But again, Jones and Jacoby still 1-2 on the track. It's down to 2.5, 2 car lengths, give or take, for Jacoby on Jones after a bit of that checkup.
Well, that's we saw Jones nearly avoided incident on the back straightaway, and now you just saw Jason Jacoby nearly avoid one as well. As again, Shackelford was just way tight, got way out of the gas. I'm not sure if it was because he was going to miss the quarter on his own, or if he was trying to let the 3-car clear him in time. But he's out of it, and here comes Jacoby to the inside, side by side for the race lead at lap 121 of 125, and Jones can't hang on the top. He had to get out of the throttle, and Jacoby on the inside. He'll pull the advantage into 3 and take over the race lead, coming to 4 laps to go.
And look what's in front of them too. Two lap cars that I mentioned, Renenberg and Stanford. Yeah, they reeled him in. Difference 10 miles an hour between the cars that are the leaders and those lap cars. I think again when Jones got a blip of the draft side by side from him, got a bit tight, got a little bit too high on the apex as well. And now Jacoby just has to make sure he clears on by these two machines. And then I think he might be home for it. Use him as a pick if you have to, Jason, because I think he's in a decent spot.
And with that 26 maintaining the top, the 19 tucked in behind, both of the cars in the fight for the race lead have to stay on the bottom line. So neither one of them got the best exit, but the 03 not clear yet. So Jacoby again, a better entrance to turn number 1. I thought Jones had it when he was that half a second out in front, but I just don't see the bite in that race car now to get back to Jacoby. This time by, going to be 2 more laps to go from Vegas. Of course, you gotta get to the white flag for it to be official, but Jacoby continues to stretch it out.
And when that last patch of clouds came out, it's like something changed in that race car. Or not when they were reaching just with the draft, but it seemed like Jacoby found something comfortable in the corner of 1 and 2 where he was struggling the most much of this race today. Got the bottom line working that we are seeing work now and got him in park that pass. And now, as long as he keeps the car clean off the walls, avoids an aero push from one last lap driver in Shane Parrish, he might be able to get home free. 1 to go this time by.
So many times this season, as Jason Jacoby catches up to lap traffic, he'll navigate around Shane Parrish, and that'll be it. He'll look to the inside, and will get the job done here on the back straightaway with Jones looking on. But so many times this year, Jason Jacoby was second fiddle to Andrew Friedage. It wins in top 5s and top 10s, but that is going to change tonight in the playoff opener. Final time at a 4 for Jason Jacoby, who wins to advance to the round of 12. Jacoby gets it done in the desert.
Now, win number 5 on the season for Jason, and it was a hard-fought one. He had struggled much of this race, actually, on the mid to long run. But it seemed like, again, in these final couple stretches, especially in the final 20 laps or so, a light seemed to turn on in his car and turn on in his head, saying, I can do something different to try and battle this tightness. He found something different, got the track conditions to go his way, got the pushing to go the right way for Dylan C. Jones with some of the lap traffic. And in the end, he was able to push his way forward to the checker flag and make the bottom work to get the pass done to take the victory.
And it'll be good night still for Jones and Friedage second and third. They already had advantages coming in tonight. That is going to grow, but again, it is Jason Jacoby's night to celebrate as he burns it down on the front straightaway. The first driver to put their name into the round of 12 in this hunt for the 2019 Full Throttle Cup. We'll take an opportunity one more time to step aside, and when we come back, we'll head down to the pit lane and victory lane, talk with the top finishers, get you set for the next race due up in next week. That one coming to you from Richmond Raceway. You're watching LSR TV's coverage of the 2019 Full Throttle Rail Sim Racing Cup Series, powered by Sim Racers for Mental Health, where Jason Jacoby's your race winner. Post-race coverage is next from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. FEGPC has been serving the iRacing community with custom-built affordable computers specifically built and tuned for iRacing. Your PC will come with everything you need preloaded so you can get racing as soon as it hits your doorstep. Get yours today and join the 600-plus iRacers already enjoying a Ford Entertainment Group build. Computers to fit every budget from $540 and up. For more info, log on to www.fegpc.net and mention code LSRTV10 to get your build quoted today. Let's head down to Real Sim Racing Victory Lane, where we are caught up with the first driver headed to the round of 12, Jason Jacoby, your winner tonight in the playoff opener at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Jason, congratulations on the win. And before we get specific, man, just tell us about that late race yellow, which kind of broke up some strategy that we thought would take us to the distance, and the absolute pandemonium that came off of the restart.
Exactly, Evan. Thank you. Thank you very much. I tell you what, it's just when you see guys get in the wall, um, I think the best thing to do is go low to try to avoid any of the cars coming down, and that was what I had to do to get around that. And um, I was mentioning on the stream that it was fixing to be a really good race before that last yellow came out because everyone was able to draft together to reel in the lead I had from a good pit stop, and then like you said, pandemonium on that final restart, man. Uh, within a few laps following that restart, man, chaos ensued, and uh, I just gotta give props to Andrew. I think I misspoke last interview. I think he has 12 wins this season. I said 11 last time, but it would have been awesome to race with him. I know he had to avoid some of that stuff going on, so he was well farther back instead of contending for a win. But just one of the nicest guys ever in sim racing, and not to mention really fast. So that combo is rare but really great, and it's good racing Dylan. I was saving tires. After the final thing happened with Rhett and Skyler, props to Skyler for leading so many laps too. But after that final thing happened, I was just saving tires behind Dylan to try to make a run at the end. And I've been in Dylan's spot before. I was thinking Dylan and I would have more of a fight, but I've done the same thing at the end where I go on the outside or someone gets to run the inside, and I don't know if Dylan just had to get out of the throttle more or what, but I was surprised that the last four laps was pretty smooth sailing here, and yeah, it was an enjoyable race for sure.
Obviously, very different than our earlier trip out here to Vegas at the start of the season before we actually got everything switched over to this 2019 package. It's also been a couple of weeks since we've been to a real intermediate racetrack. Kentucky was the last one, and that was in the middle of July. So to get thrown back into this crazy hornet's nest to start the playoffs, obviously you guys came in a very good position. 12 bonus points to your name, courtesy of those 4 race wins in the regular season. Didn't need to win, whereas maybe other drivers who were up there over the course of the race felt like maybe this was their best opportunity to do so, to still race it out very aggressively and go for the race win. Just talk us through that mindset.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, Evan, I meant to lead off the interview, but I totally forgot to. We got a win here in RSR at your home track, which kind of was joking about that last week in the interview. But I like to go for wins, and as I mentioned, Andrew's the man to beat pretty much every week. No disrespecting everyone else would agree with me, I'm sure. To get a fifth win in the season is great. Um, I'll I also have to thank Evan, of course, everyone watching on my stream and iRacing Esports Network. Thanks to everybody who watches. Evan, thank you for the league. Brian Macklin for doing an awesome job administrating. My mo, I think that's the proper term or phrase or acronym or whatever is to just race close, race you know hard and fast, and just try to put on a good race. And so no matter what the situation is, I'm always going to race hard and close with guys. That's to me is the most fun. But speaking of earlier in the year at Vegas, the thing that did me in there was I put myself in the wall and I got myself a good bit of damage. And I think the driver I've changed. Uh, second time around, I've learned not to put it in the wall because that was my undoing the first race of Vegas of the season. And this time I learned, actually the last half of the season I've been learning not to put in the wall as much, and good results have come from that.
We could see that you were having so much fun driving it out there tonight that you tossed it a couple of extra laps late, did the Legends Oval a few times there as a part of the celebration. It was a well-deserved one. You can kick the feet up, and there is still some things to gain. Richmond next week, of course. The Charlotte Roval has been one of the ones that I think we've all been looking most forward to all season long, but you already know that you're going to be racing in the round of 12, so with a couple of weeks now to think about that, what do you do in these next 2 weeks to try to help yourself out?
So Richmond is one that back in NASCAR Racing 2003 season. It was a really great track for me, and then I've kind of been third to fifth place driver uh, when we switched over to the Great Sim iRacing. Huge thanks to iRacing giving us a hobby that we all love and enjoy. And I think Richmond is one. I think I'm overall I've improved as a driver all around. these last few weeks, maybe this whole season in general. And the Roval is going to be fun for sure. Hopefully, I can step up my game at road courses. I was talking to Andrew. I think we were talking about how this package and these types of tracks are kind of in my DNA, whereas there's a ton of good road racers, and that's built into their DNA. So, but I think I might be able to eke out a top 5, 6, 7. It's the Roval. Nevertheless, is a beautiful track layout. Been there in person with Seat Time Racing School, and it's just a lovely track. Win or lose, it's a pleasure to drive. So, yeah, that's Richmond and Roval. I think I can still get some good finishes there too.
We look forward to a lot more exciting action still to come in 2019. But for now, you guys have some celebrating to do. So, Jason, we'll let you get out of here. We appreciate your time and your support of the series. Congrats on the race win, and we'll see what you got next Monday night.
Evan, thank you all so much. Good night, everybody.
He's the first driver into the round of 12. Jason Jacoby, your race winner tonight for the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway.